cutting at full speed. We don't want to put him out there when he's 75%. There's no point.
Because you've already had that bye week as well?
No.
Okay.
No, I manage players the same. We wait till they're healthy and get them out there.
When you look at Atlanta's offense, they've obviously got a ton of talent at the receiver position. If it's a play caller and a play designer, does that change? Like, do you want to simplify and just let their talent shine? Do you want to try to still use the same scheme you use otherwise? How does that level of talent affect an offense?
I don't know. I've never coached in their offense, but I like to think we're pretty talented also. But I don't know. I think it depends on the week and who you're playing. Yeah, I don't know. Why don't you ask their offensive coordinator? Okay.
As the Thompson injury situation kind of lingers, and you're maybe bringing up Byron Marshall, how worried are you about Chris kind of long-term rather than just this weekend if both sides of his chest are beat up?
Yeah, we're not bringing up Byron this week. He can't come up this week. He's practicing this week, but possibly next week we could bring him up. But, anytime you have a rib like that, it's going to be it's a painful deal, especially for the things that he has to do, running a football, protecting and catching the ball. So, we're going to give him a little bit of time, make sure he's ready to roll and can have all his movement and flexibility and can run out there without pain, because it is a tough injury for a running back or for anybody for that matter.
Just based on what you saw from Quinn today, does he have a chance at Sunday playing, and then how does that maybe impact what Josh does on the field?
Dunbar, he did good today. So I mean he's full today, so I have every indication in my mind he's going to play, barring a setback. So again, we'll keep close tabs with the trainer and talk to Quentin and see how he's doing. And like I said, barring a setback, I imagine he'll play. As far as how we match up with the receivers, we'll see how it goes. I think they have so many good weapons. With Ridley on one side and Julio on the other side, I don't think it really matters. Both of them are pretty dang good. Ridley's a first rounder, and obviously Julio's Julio. So if we choose a match, we match. If we don't, both of them are going to have to strap it up and cover a heck of a player.
Jay, I was actually about to ask that same thing. What goes into that decision about how you, whether or not you move Josh around or how you flip sides and all that? What goes through your mind as you're making those decisions?
Well, it depends on the game, the person, the scheme, what coverages we're playing. If you're playing a lot of two-shell, you don't really move them around a lot. But if you're playing a lot of single safety stuff, you might want to move them around, let Josh compete against the best, the guy who they might throw it to or target the most. So if that's the case this week, that could be the same. But with Dunny, the way he's playing or was playing before he got hurt, we may not have to do that. We can leave him right and left and let him be comfortable and cover equally two pretty good receivers. So a lot goes into the decision, coverages, who you're playing against, and who's on the field with you.
How did HaHa progress in his second day, and how does he look going in towards Sunday?
He did good. It was good to get Monte out there, did a lot more today also. So it's good to have all three of those guys out there, and obviously Shays and Ladler. So it's just a matter of getting them comfortable in a personnel group and letting them learn and go from there. And he's back there with Torian the whole time he's not in there, talking about the calls and the adjustments we have to make. But he is, a very bright guy, and I think he's going to pick it up very quick. He already has, so he's doing good.
Team to team, we always hear about the difference in language for offenses. How different is it from defensive, both in the language and then just in terms of the scheme? Like, how is cover two here compared to cover two other places?
Well, it can be quite different, really. For safeties, cover two probably, but there are some adjustments. There's a lot of could be possible double calls in certain offenses based on the halfback, based on 3-by-1, 2-by-2 adjustments you might make from a coverage standpoint, and that's something that we just got to make sure that he can handle communicating with whoever he's in there with DJ or Monte. So that's the big thing, alignment, assignment, all that. You just got to pick up the terminology, but he's doing a good job so far.
Alex was saying yesterday that when he looked at the film and just analyzing that third down in the red zone obviously stood out. But just what have you made of your red zone offense this year?
Well, I think it has to improve. We've missed some great opportunities, man, some really good ones. And, it's not easy down there. Defenses, they have great options. They can cover zero you. They can show cover zero, drop 8. They can, they play 2 deep, 3 deep, and it gets all packed in down there. And windows are very tight. You have to be very accurate and anticipate throws. And you got to win your one-on-one matchups when you do get man. So we do have some improvement to do in the red zone area. And but we have the guys, I think, that can win in a man-to-man. And then it's our job to find the holes in zone. Might have to buy some time if they drop 8 guys and work some scramble drills.
Is that just a matter of getting more comfortable in the scheme and Alex getting used to all the
Probably.
guys?
Yeah, probably. And it's play dependent and play related. So what play is good versus what coverage is, and we try to help them out and try to match it up. But sometimes we don't get the coverage we anticipate, and we got to ad lib a little bit. So, but he's been very good as far as protecting the football, which is good. And you want to come out of there with 7, obviously. But Hop's kicking the ball very well. We're playing good defense, and most important thing is at least get points, and we've done that pretty much every time, I think.
How's Trent coming along with that thumb?
Trent went to see a specialist today in Pittsburgh, and we'll see how that went.
Is that, I mean, obviously to check it out, is that too to see if you can develop something so he can play with it, or is just to see
That
if he
and
could-
see if he might need to have something done, so we'll see. Yeah, so we're anxiously awaiting that word. Don't text me and ask me what the word is, please. John, come.
I don't know what you're talking about.
All right.
All right.
Clinton Dix, how soon can you get him up to speed to where he can go out there and help you?
Well, that's the biggest thing. I think he's a professional, of course. It's great to have him on our team. It's an individual that came from somewhat of a similar background, so I think the calls and stuff will relate a little bit. But that's the biggest thing, is trying to get him up to speed with the defenses that we have. That might be a little different than what he did, but overall, he's doing a good job.
How quick, he seems like a smart guy, and people talk about that, but how hard is it to get, in general, a guy to go out and play a game in a new defense and have him play to the speed that you and he would want him to be at?
Well, I think it takes a couple of weeks. I think overall, an individual that doesn't know knows all the calls. I know he knows a fire zone concept. He knows cover 3. He knows cover 2. But every team's different. So I think overall, his knowledge of the game is very good. So I think he's going to have a chance to probably play a little bit this week, and we'll see it from there.
How do you think that he matches up with like Nicholson and Swearinger on the field at the same time? Is the 3 safety look something that you can do more of now that he's here?
Of course, when you get individuals like that, he's a Pro Bowler guy. Coming from Alabama, he understands defenses. He goes out there and he performs at a high fashion. So to have those 3 guys in situations like that would be great to have. So we're lucky and fortunate right now to have them.
And then what do you see just Monte's role going forward if he takes a little bit less? Is he going to take a little bit less of a role? Like, what do you see kind of the remaining?
Right now, we're just judging and weighing what we have right now, based upon he's been here for 2 days right now. So just trying to figure out exactly what he knows and how he knows it, and then try to plug him in, and hopefully he'll be in a situation where he'll play a little bit.
How do you judge exactly if someone's up to speed at a certain point? Do you kind of just base it off of just practice, and then you have conversations with them, or is there a test like, hey, can you rattle off these kinds of, what's kind of just the way that you feel comfortable or confident in a certain amount of plays?
I don't think there's a test. I think overall just talking to the individual and understanding what he does. And from a DB perspective, I rely on the DB coaches to, does he understand concepts that we have? And pretty much, there's not 1,000 concepts, but overall, he is a very knowledgeable football player. He understands concepts, so we'll see it from there.
When you're doing tape and study on the Falcons' pass game, what stands out to you? I'm assuming Julio, and have they gone even more heavy once losing Devontae Freeman?
Well, I think, just overall, you could see a lot of speed showing up, across the board with the receivers that they have. And then with Freeman down, what happens is those other guys get an opportunity to really fly down the field. So they can run. They have some speed. So we got to make sure we match them up.
When it comes to stopping the run, the D linemen have gotten a lot of credit. But for you, when you look at the run defense, what is it that jumps out at you in addition to what you're seeing up front?
We're playing physical up front. I think the guys that we picked up in the draft, and Jonathan, and Matt, and all the guys up front, Preston setting an edge, and Kerrigan. I think overall, you know, they've been doing a good job. You know, I don't know where we're ranked or anything. We just got to make sure we stop the run, make them one-dimensional, and then put them in a passing situation. All right, guys. Thanks. Appreciate it.